And it's Jacob Ingledew. Did I say that right?
You said it right.
Cool.
You can call me Jake. You can call me whatever you'd like. Just don't call me late for dinner.
We'll do that. How long have you been doing the podcast for the pest control side?
It just launched Monday. Yeah.
I must have saw that on your when I searched your name on Facebook. I think that's the first thing that popped up.
Oh, cool. That's good.
What made you want to do that?
I already have a podcast. I've got a pest control business. I've got a lawn mowing business. I've got real estate. And I'm just like, I wanted to get into the content space, but I wanted to help. I wanted to have more impact. So I wanted to help somebody that was like an earlier version of me and like help them get to where I'm at, because like, I'm not super wealthy by any means. On paper, I'm a millionaire, but there's nothing really to brag about that because it's not as exciting as people think it is. But I have way more time and freedom than most people. And I really enjoy spending time with my family, doing the podcast. Like I just have a lot of good life balance. And so I wanted to create a podcast that helps people to get there in a quicker way than I was able to do it. That's kind of why I started it, dude.
Yeah, same here. Just a cheat code for everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I was talking to a couple of my guys yesterday and I said, I wish I was 23 years old again to get the advice that I'm giving you, because I literally just saved you 10 years of your life.
Yeah, seriously. If I knew what I know now, dude.
Yeah.
We'll probably always say that. We'll always say that.
Yeah, I think everyone says that no matter when they start. How long have you been in the pest control industry for?
2000 since 2015, 16. Nice. I think 2016, something like that.
What came first, lawn care or pest control?
Pest control.
Really?
Yeah. Pest control came first. Yeah. Yeah. So what happened is long story short, I was in the military, did one tour over in Afghanistan, got out of the service, went on a church mission, 2-year church mission. Then basically after that, started working for a pest control company, because I moved back to the area that I served a church mission because I met my wife, and I came back, and on my mission, I met a guy that was making really good money that owned a pest control business. And I was like, and he liked me. So I needed a job, and I liked him, and I needed a job just to start something when I got back, with me pursuing this girl. So, basically I just, I started spraying pest control and knocking doors. Like I kind of did a hybrid of both, because I opened up the location for them in a new area. And then I started knocking doors for Aptive Environmental. Don't know if you've heard of them.
Oh, sure.
Big door-to-door company.
Yeah.
Made 50 grand, just shy of 50 grand my first summer.
Good.
Yeah. And honestly, I jacked around a lot because, I thought I was motivated by money, which I was motivated enough to make just shy of 50 grand. But after that, I just like played. I wish I would have pushed a little harder, but yeah, I made good money, and I was like, holy cow, man, I think I can start a pest control business. I think I can do this, because every door-to-door salesman thinks, hey, if I can sell it, I could do this. And so that's kind of how it started.
Yeah. So like you started knocking doors for Aptive. You did that for a summer, 1 summer or 2 summers?
I did it for a few summers. Yeah. So the first company I worked with was called Midwest Pest Control. Great owners. They ended up, I think, selling out and started another company, but they were great guys. But I was spraying for them and knocking doors. So I did a combination of both spraying and knocking doors. And I think that first summer I only sold like somewhere between 60 and 70 accounts, but that's because I didn't put any effort on it. I didn't have any training, or anything like that. I just was like, oh, dude, I'm just here to spray. Like that was my main focus, just to spray.
So when they went over to Aptive, you got way more training.
What's that?
When you went over to Aptive, I'm assuming you got way more training on the sales side.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I think they do a fantastic job with their sales program. I know a lot of people, some people have good things to say about them. Some people have terrible things to say about them. As far as their sales program, I think they've got a very good sales program.
So then you went and worked for a couple different pest control companies. You were a hybrid guy, which is hard to find. Like those guys who can sell and service at the same time.
Yeah.
Super talented guys.
I wouldn't say I was taught how to service well. I was like pray and spray, like 50-gallon power sprayer, loaded up with some chemical, and just pray and spray.
Just send it.
So I had to learn a lot about the service side of stuff because I had no experience. And I still, honestly, to this day, I don't know that much. My technicians, my lead technician and my service manager, they probably know more about pest control than I do now,
Same here. How many techs do you got?
Well, so my company's super small. Yeah. We only have 3 technicians. Oh, no, sorry, 2 technicians. We don't have the one anymore. Just 2 technicians and 2 office staff.
Nice.
Yeah. So we're super small, super mobile.
That's really cool. And then you said you started a lawn care company afterwards. Usually it's the opposite.
Yeah. Well, so this is what happened is I started my pest control business, and I really focused on systems really from the get-go. And so I created systems to where it freed me up to where I had a lot more time, because my pest control business pretty much runs itself day to day.
Yeah.
So then I have entrepreneurial ADD. So then I'm like, oh, what about real estate? Because I've always been interested in real estate. So then I started getting into real estate, bought a bunch of properties and doing that. And then I was like, oh, well, what about a lawn care business? Because that's not that complicated. So then I started that last year, brought some 2 young guys on, and I gave them equity in the company, and they're just go-getters, and they're pretty much running that themselves. I'm just more of like a mentor to them. So that's been awesome. But yeah, so I'm doing a little bit of everything, man.
That's really cool. How many clients do they got?
I think they're right about, if I remember correctly, around 50 or 60 clients, because we started late last year. So this just started last year. We started late last year. We were late to the season, and they still did pretty good. Like I think we grossed, which is pretty good we started late. I think we grossed, we netted. I think it was around 18 grand.
Nice.
So not too bad.
No, that's cool. Like we have I remember we were talking on Facebook, and we have the total opposite story.
Yeah.
Where I owned a lawn care company for the last 12 years, ended up selling like 2 years ago, transitioning to fertilization, weed control, and pest control only.
That's awesome.
And then you've knocked doors before. We had never knocked doors before. And then we started knocking doors, and you stopped knocking doors. Why did you stop knocking doors, and why didn't you knock doors for your current company?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think there's lots of reasons.
I think so too.
And we'll be super vulnerable with it too.
Yeah.
One, laziness, right? Because I'm like, I don't want to go out and knock doors for myself. I don't want to do that. I wanted to create a marketing strategy that was more organic and more word of mouth, more online social media presence. Because I figured in my area, if I could be the top rated person, like have the biggest online presence, I'll smoke even the big guys. So that was like my main focus instead of doing door-to-door sales. And I didn't want to get into I've just noticed, and I'm not saying this is true for all companies, but I have noticed a lot of door-to-door companies, the quality of their service goes downhill because they become a sales company and they're just focusing on volume. I knew I did not want that. I wanted to maintain quality because I actually wanted to provide a phenomenal customer service experience to where they were like, wow. So that's why I didn't knock doors, because of laziness, because it costs a lot to pay somebody, especially if they know door-to-door sales, because then all of a sudden their price just went up. And I just didn't want the headache and the stress of having to manage a sales team as I was scaling and growing. And I've just have found methods that I think are highly effective and underrated and underutilized. And so that I decided not to go that route.
And I think a lot of the people that are listening to this podcast are super interested in door-to-door that don't really know it. But then there's a lot of people that do door-to-door that want to know like the other side of your marketing strategy. Can you you don't tell us in detail, but can you give us some of what that looks like on the marketing side?
Yeah, no, I have no problem going into detail. I'm super being willing to be vulnerable and transparent because I think it's important for people to know where they stand or how they're doing things or, whatever.
Yeah.
So you want to know my marketing strategy as far as my pest control business, what I did in the beginning?
Yeah. How you got started and how you added more clients. I looked up your reviews. You had 400 and some reviews already, all 5-star, which is super impressive.
Yeah. Thanks, man. So what I did at the beginning, I'll tell you what I did and what I would change because now that what I know now, I would have done it differently. And I think I would have grown faster. But at the very beginning, I just focused on my network, who was in my inner circle. So if I go to church, right, I've got people in my circle and just started spreading the word, doing social media ads. And I just did them all myself. And I just, super basic stuff, right? Just getting the word out there. But this is what helped me grow quickly. Anytime that I service somebody, I would not only get them to like me quickly while I was there and get them to talk about whatever they were interested in, but I'd provide a quality service so that I could earn the right to ask for a Google review. So anytime I service somebody, I'd be like, hey, at the end and I was collecting payment, I'd say, hey, I'll take $5 off today's visit if you'll like and share me on my business Facebook page, on your personal Facebook page, and if you leave me a 5-star Google review. And people started doing it no problem. And so that started I just started getting customers super quick that way. And that's how basic it was. A little bit of social media stuff. And then just me as I serviced would just open my mouth and ask for, a Google review and a Facebook like and share. Looking back, if I were to do it all over again and I were to look at it through the lens of like, I'm bootstrapping this thing, I don't want to go out and get a loan and, leverage other people's money or the bank's money. What I would do is I would set a budget, and within that budget, I would do what I like to call guerrilla warfare marketing. And I would go like, for example, we'll talk about lawn care or pest control, either one. I think this works for both, works for most service-based businesses. Pick a specific neighborhood that you want to target, like the ideal neighborhood, and not focus on the ideal avatar, but just the home itself. This is just super basic. And say it's 1,000 houses. Target those 1,000 houses by making door hangers and going through that whole neighborhood, putting door hangers up, getting just a few yard signs, like maybe 10, 20, put them up all around the neighborhood, like up on the telephone poles, blah, 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 blah. Do a direct mail marketing campaign to where I'd send postcards or flyers or whatever specifically to those addresses. And then I would go through the neighborhood and knock doors, but not with the intent to sell. Well, I mean, that's always the intent, but I would do it in the way of like, I knock on the door and be like, hey, we're servicing people in the area. If it's something you're interested in, feel free to give me a call or shoot me a text. Here's my business card. I don't want to be like normal salesman and bombard you. When it's convenient for you, feel free to reach out to me. And then on the business card would be like a QR code that they can scan and take them right to signing up, right? Mm-hmm. I just make it super simple, instant quotes, right? They'd have instant quotes knowing, oh, my house is going to cost this. You would already give it to them in those flyers and stuff. So I just hit them up with door hangers, yard signs, direct mail, and then just go through and knock the doors with the business cards. Doing that, it's so simple, but it's super effective. And that's what I call guerrilla warfare marketing, doing that in a combination with networking with local businesses and people in the community.
Yeah, I think I did a YouTube video of that like 2 months ago. Guerrilla marketing for pest control. It's almost to a T what you just said.
Is that what you call it too?
Yeah. So almost to a T. We call it dominate your market. So dominate your neighborhood, dominate your market, and just work on one neighborhood at a time.
Yep, exactly. And well, there's so many good things about that. Not only is it a simple, easy way to market, right? It's like so easy a monkey could do it. Yeah. But the nice thing about it is like now your route is denser because everybody's right there where you were targeting. And then as you expand that circle, just your route optimization and scheduling is just so much better. Yeah. Instead of like how I did at the beginning, I was like, I'll take on anybody. Yeah. Like if I can get money, I will do it. I don't care if it's an hour out, or whatever. But that's probably what I would do if I'd go back all over. And I'm actually going to do a YouTube video and go in more detail exactly what I would do.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's great information. You said that you put a lot of systems in place where the business could grow by itself. Can let's walk through some of those systems that you put in place? I'm sure you're using some sort of CRM. You can talk about that and what it kind of looks like.
Yeah, for sure.
Because not many people are out of their business that fast, which is a great thing.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate. I like to learn. I'm obsessed with improving myself. So I read a lot of books. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I have a lot of mentors, whether they know they're my mentor or not. But some of the systems that I focused on from the very beginning is just like, well, a CRM takes care of most of your systems, right? Yeah. In service-based businesses. I wanted to start out by creating the operations systems like phone scripts, yeah. Like how exactly we're going to conduct our service, the step-by-step process. And then scheduling and routing and collecting how you're going to, I call it the client flow. I got it from a book. It's called The Critical Client Flow. And basically it's how are you going to get, I'm actually I have an outline on it here because I can't remember it all. So it's basically how are you going to get people's attention? How are you going to get them to get engage with you, right? With your ads or whatever. How are you going to sell them? And then how are you going to collect money from them? How are you going to onboard that customer? Which again, your CRM takes care of most of that. And then how are you going to deliver your product or service to that client? And then having that as a detailed step-by-step. And then the last one would be like, well, how am I going to get repeat business? And basically it's just doing the same thing over again. Because if it already worked, why would you stop doing it?
Agreed. So you just created a bunch of standard or SOPs for every, for the office, for the field staff or anything. So that way you could just say, hey, here's the system, how we do it, train them on the system, and you could kind of just walk away.
Yeah. And I just tried to keep it super simple because like you can go down a rabbit hole with systems and get so micro. I think that most people just need to keep it simple. And just you're already doing the thing. Most business owners, if you've started a business, you're already doing your system or your process. So just document it. And so one thing that I learned very quickly is like, if I want to document something, if I'm already doing it, then if like, for example, if I'm doing something on the CRM in the office and I'm already doing it, well, then I'm going to hop on Zoom. I'm going to record me doing it, walking through it. And now I just created a video SOP. Now, if I'm too lazy to do the checklist of that SOP, because some people need a checklist, then I'll just send it over to a virtual assistant in the Philippines, like off of Fiverr, Upwork, and say, hey, man, will you take this video and do screenshots with arrows pointing where to go with a checklist step by step on what to do? So then I have the video SOP. So then when I hire somebody, if they're like, hey, how do you do, whatever? I'm like, have you checked the Google Drive? Like, have you looked at the video SOP and,
right.
type of thing. So it's just creating systems, like step-by-step processes so that a monkey could do the job. Agreed. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. And you said that you have 2 girls in the office full time?
I have 2 staff. Yeah. 1 male, 1 female. Mm-hmm.
Nice. And they're just answering calls, scheduling.
Yeah. So one's answering calls, scheduling, dealing with all the customers. The other one now, because he was my first office person, he's kind of elevated himself to where she's doing some of his tasks. Yeah. So now I'm putting him on tasks that are more like bigger picture type stuff and help developing our people and things like that.
I love that.
But I think everybody should, a good place to start is just have some basic operational systems, like how we do business, and then a financial management system. And I'm a big proponent of profit first. I'm sure some people. First. Yeah, exactly. So I'm a big proponent of that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan of that system. So then just, have some sort of money management system. And we can go on to a lot of other things. Like then you also need to create a system for what I like to call critical employee flow. So like, how are you going to recruit people? How are you going to hire them? How are you going to onboard them? How are you going to train them? And I don't have all this stuff dialed down. I just have a very basic stuff. I'm now working on optimizing those systems, but I think everybody just get a base level and you'll see drastic improvements because it's going to free you up. Because us as business owners, we're always wearing so many dang hats and we're so caught up in the stress of the day to day and handling the phone calls and servicing people. And when I'm servicing people, I can't be selling. And then when I'm selling, I can't be servicing. And so there becomes a bottleneck. Sure. But if you create systems from the beginning, even if they're just super basic, it's going to help alleviate some of that stress and whatnot. And then you'll be able to delegate that task to somebody else so you can elevate and take that hat off and keep moving up in the company to where you're ultimately going to become hopefully the CEO and then eventually actually the business owner, to where you don't own a job, you own a business and everybody else handles everything else and you're just looking at like reports, Yeah,
it's all great advice. And I wish I would have had that advice when I was just starting out creating SOPs, because then we got really big and now we're like hiring other people to come in and like write all of our SOPs for us, and it costs a fortune at that point.
Yeah, and it creates a bigger bottleneck because once you get bigger, it's like it's harder to implement the systems, especially with employees, because the people are resistant to change. So then it's like,
can't teach an old dog new tricks, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just train out the system. But yeah, so I agree with you. Like, just it's super easy. When you're first starting out, just take what's in your head, write it down, create a system, like you said. Cool, make a quick video, send it out to the Philippines, have them just write it up for you. No, it's all great information. I love it. You said no, you're good. You said you had some mentors, but they said they might not even know that they mentor you.
Yeah.
Who are the people that you follow mostly?
On like social media?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, my idol right now is Alex Hermosi, man. Dude, that guy, if people can, he says stuff so simply, but it's so deep and so profound that if you like sit there and just like sit on it for a little bit, he's got some gold nuggets, man. So I'm a big fan of Alex Hermosi right now, but there's a lot of other people too, for sure.
Yeah, because I follow Patrick Bet-David super close.
Yeah,
and he doesn't know he's mentoring me, but I consume all his content.
Yeah.
So I'm the same way.
I'm weird, dude. I'm like, I don't know if I'm weird, but like on TikTok, if you were to look at my TikTok, dude, like everything's just business. Everything's business or self-improvement. Like it's not, that's my entertainment.
Yeah. And we have a TikTok. We have 2 TikToks. We have the Pest Control Millionaire, and then we have our Turf Badger one that's millions and millions of views, which is the craziest thing ever.
That is crazy.
I'll give Dalton a pat on the back for that. He's really good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And he's crushing it. Like we put up videos, I have 2.5 million views, 1 million views. But one like 2 days ago, it's like 350,000 reviews. It's wild.
That's awesome. Man.
But I don't even have TikTok. Like I have TikTok enough to where I look at it, and Dalton just comes on here and says, "Hey, we're gonna do this, and this," and I just create content, and he uploads it all.
Yeah.
So yeah, awesome. TikTok's fun. It's a wide reach of people. It's pretty wild.
I think that business owners, I think technology and times are shifting, and I think that if you want to become a bigger business, I think you need to target the younger generations, because the baby boomers are going to be dying off soon, and the younger generations are more tech savvy, and so if you can create ways to target them in a way that's convenient to them through their social media outlets or whatever, I think it'd be really beneficial.
The thing that I didn't realize that it was going to do for us is actually recruiting. Like every young kid thinks their TikTok is the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
And they just want to be part of it, which is, I never would have ever thought of it that way, but that's what it's almost turned into. Fully.
I love
it's
that's
so
awesome.
Great. And then, so we just, like I said, we started shooting TikToks like what, 7-8 months ago, something like that. I want to say. Yeah.
Like June, I think.
Yeah. June. And then so I was like, I knew it was going to be a long-term strategy. Like it's not going to take, it's not going to go overnight. But then, like I said, 8 months, 9 months in, like maybe even like 6 months in.
Yeah, it was October, so 4.
So 4 months in of creating content on a daily basis, every other day basis. It took about 6 months, and then it started just going crazy. So like Pest Control Millionaire, we've been doing for a month and a half.
Yeah, not very long.
Not very long. So that'll be getting there too,
That's awesome. Dude, I think people should use it more often. I've got a buddy, he started a mobile detailing business, and he's just a solo operator, but he does TikTok videos like almost daily, and it's landed him some big clients. So when he was traveling with his family to go see some of his family in Utah, he had people with like really nice fancy cars like hit him up, and he went and serviced their cars while he was out in Utah on vacation and stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy. So cool. I was out in Pest World, and it's the first time it happened. And they're like, and I was just walking around like, "Hey, you're the pest control guy on TikTok." I'm like, "What?" Like, "Yeah, you're the TikTok guy." I'm like, "Huh." I was like, "I didn't know that."
Yeah.
And now I hear it all the time. But that was the first time I heard it. Like, it's kind of weird still.
Well, that's how I found you. I mean, I saw a video, and I don't even remember how I saw it, but I saw a video of you guys talking, and you were talking with another guy and talking about mowers and how don't overcomplicate it. You just need a mower to cut the grass. And I was like, yes, amen.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I had some really good coaches. So I don't know if you ever heard of Service Autopilot before. It's a CRM for.
Oh, yes, I have. Yes, I have. Yeah.
So the creator of that, Jonathan Potoshanek, has been my mentor for the last 6-7 years.
Oh, wow.
Like that. So I've had really, really good mentors. So that's how I scaled the business so fast. The first 8 years was just a struggle, and then I met someone like showed me the way, and it took off like crazy after that. So most of my success I have to give it to him. So everything that you hear me say, it's pretty much regurgitated over everything that I've learned over the years.
Dude, we're all just a compilation of everything we've been taught by our parents, society, the school system, and the books and content we consume. So
yeah. What podcast do you follow closely?
Right now, my favorite podcast is probably Ed Milet. I love Ed Milet, man. Yeah. I just if I could have a podcast like him, I'd be very happy.
Yeah. You've read his new book, The Power of One More?
Yes. Yep. One More. Power of One More. Yeah. Yep. I've read it. I love Ed Milet, man. Yeah. I love his message. I love the way he conducts himself. Yeah.
They just started a new coaching group too. Well, not new, but like in the past couple of years, him and Andy Frisella.
Yeah. I love Andy Frisella.
They have a coaching group too. That looks really cool. One of my friends is in it. He really likes it.
I think it'd be cool to go to one of their conferences.
I think that's probably the coolest part. Just saying, hey, you're hanging out with these guys.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you learn. You're just going to say, post some pictures.
You know what I love about Ed Milet too is like, and this is like kind of like starting to become like my best kept secret that most men don't know. And I learned it from Ed Milet. Dude, women entrepreneurs are way better than men, dude. They're so good. You can learn so much from them. So I literally will read books from these women entrepreneurs, and I'm just like, oh man, how come the guys in the space aren't talking about this? Dude, women are good, dude. Women are really good at business.
And my COO is a girl. She's a female, young. She's absolute rock star.
Yeah.
Super excited about her. She actually starts on the 27th.
That's awesome.
So super excited to bring her on. It'd be a big win for us. It's a girl, for one. It's in pest control. She knows pest control. She knows all the operation side. Because you brought up a good point earlier. You said that door-to-door sales companies turn into a sales force and not so much an operation side. And I didn't want to be that. And even though I didn't want to be, doesn't mean that we didn't. We were selling so fast that maybe the quality wasn't the greatest. So yeah. I didn't want to lose all my clients at the back end. So I said I need to hire someone who's really, really good, really, really knows the operation side, bring her in to make sure that we're not losing clients at the back end. So that's what we're bringing her on for.
For sure. I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to have to keep up with the constant volume, because if you play it, to me, it seems like if you play that game, you're constantly having to sell to keep up because you're losing so many clients because your quality is not good.
Agreed.
And I've seen that even with real estate. Like I was doing too much at one time, so much volume that I'm like, it's too much. It's too much, in my opinion.
Yeah. But then we found a really good balance last year. So that was awesome. Like your second year ever doing door to door, but not at a big scale, you know? So we started to get really good. And so our retention rate was a lot lower than the year before, but we were just trying to figure it out. We had no clue. I didn't work in Aptive. No one taught me how to do it. We just started getting really good at it.
Yeah.
But now it's like, I can see like it brings a lot of good, but that also brings a lot of the bad stuff too,
Yeah. So I think if anybody's going to start a company, they just need to figure out what works best for them. And that's kind of like my message with my podcast and stuff is like, look, my message is that through pest control entrepreneurship, you can obtain financial freedom, life balance, and fulfillment, and live the life that you truly want. Don't play the game of like trying to keep up with everybody else or doing what everybody else is doing. Like live your best life, because dude, you'll just be happier. Like I can tell you how many times I have allowed somebody else's vision to impede on mine, and I've gotten caught up playing their game when I'm like, and it didn't bring me fulfillment or joy because I was following somebody else's vision instead of my own.
It's great information. What is your podcast called?
So I've got two. I've got the Pest Control Entrepreneur podcast.
Everyone go follow that quick.
We just hit 119
awesome.
In the US. So that's cool. We're trying to get to top 50. And then I've got the Growth Circle podcast, which is more of just like whatever I want to talk about. It's all entrepreneurship related, heavy real estate related. But yeah.
Yeah, so everyone should just go like and follow that right now. I think it's really sweet what you're trying to do over there. And then you just mentioned, and I see all the books behind. It looks like the 4 Work Week. I can't really tell, just because they're kind of blurred out.
I've got a lot of books. Yeah.
With give me some top books that you like.
Man, that depends. I think it depends on what your goals are. Yeah. So I'll just share with someone that I like.
Absolutely.
Slight Edge, The Compound Effect, Atomic Habits. I like those ones for more like personal stuff, but they work for business too. But then my top business books, I would have to say, probably Traction, Profit First, $100 Million Offers, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Those are probably my top.
Yeah, Traction is a really good book. We follow EOS in our company.
That's awesome.
I just got done reading How to Be a Great Boss. That's another part of the Traction series.
I haven't read that one.
Really good. It just kind of tells you, like, it goes through like all the leadership stuff, like, and how to make sure that you guys have scorecards and meeting polls and just things like that. It goes over Traction, but at a different level, just like the boss level. So it's really cool. Highly recommend that book. So if you like EOS, you like Traction, that's a good one.
Yeah. I think Traction is a very good system for accountability and just like overall growth. I think it's like just to make sure you're on track. I think it's a great book.
Yeah. So we run our level 10 tonight. There's a level 10 meeting. We have weekly meeting at 7:00 Eastern Standard Time every single week. So we start on the same page. We just go through the issues list, the people list, like make sure everyone's on the quarterly rocks, just things like that. There's a second book called Rocket Fuel, which is super awesome. That's just fun, for your number one CEO visionary with the number two. It's a really good book. I highly recommend that one too if you're scaling up. I say
agree.
scaling
100% agree with that. That's a good book.
Yeah. So those are all really good books. So Traction, I've probably read Tractions 5, 6, 7 times. That's one of my all-time favorite books. It's so good.
Yeah, you almost gotta. I like what Alex Hormozi says, man. He's like, instead of reading so many books, like read like 5 books over and over again to get your, deepen your knowledge and understanding.
Yeah. So I have a couple questions that people reach out to me, like that they ask me in email that they want me to respond with. Just so I'll ask it online. What is one of the biggest mistakes you made early on that would be very helpful for other people?
Oh,
that you could go back and change. I have a million.
It's funny that you brought that up because I literally just did a podcast episode on this. And I think I called it like my top 5 lessons learned. But you want me to just say one, huh?
Oh, give me a couple, sure.
I'd say probably the number one mistake I made was not having a personal vision from the get-go. A personal vision is so important because it's the roadmap to live to success. It's the roadmap to help you live a fulfilling life because it's what you want. And the other thing that's about a personal vision that I absolutely love is it becomes a filter, because us entrepreneurs, we have entrepreneurial ADD and we see shiny objects and we like new ideas and change things. It acts as a filter that all these things that come to you as like opportunities, you find out like, oh, actually it's not an opportunity. It's a distraction masked as an opportunity because it's not in line with what I'm trying to accomplish. So I'm going to say no to that thing and set the boundary. So that's probably the biggest one of the biggest things I wish I would have done from the get-go was to create a personal vision and then a business vision.
I can agree with that 100% because I'm super ADD. I have that entrepreneurial ADD, and I've done so many things in the past 10 years, tried so many things, I've failed at so many things.
Yep.
But then the things that I did do well, like I know myself, I know my Colby score now, I know my watch out. It's like, okay, that looks really cool. It sounds fun. Let's just hold off on that for now.
Yeah.
In 5 years, if I still want to come back to it, cool. But just focus on what you're doing.
I have to give myself a rule. If I think something's cool, instead of taking action, I have to sit on it for at least 24 hours. Cause I'm like one of those people, as soon as I get the idea, I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like I just start taking action.
Yeah.
And it's terrible. And then your people don't like you because they're like, man, my boss is all over the place. There's no structure. I don't know what his expectations are. And that's probably the second thing I'd probably say is like creating systems and laying out expectations for every role in the company and just setting those boundaries and expectations, because I can't tell you how many how much stress I've had because I expected something to be done a certain way, but they had no idea. And so I'm pissed off. They're pissed off because they're confused. They don't know what they're supposed to be doing because I haven't laid out the expectations.
Yeah. And I would say that's my number one is not having a company scorecard and not have an individual scorecard for every single person in the company. Yeah. So they can know if they are doing good or doing bad on a daily level.
Yeah. I 100% agree with that. And I can't even say I've been the best at that. Like I've literally like at the beginning, what I did for like my pest control company, the only metric I cared about for my technicians was get a Google review.
Okay. And
that's it. Just kept it super simple. And it worked. And it's worked.
Yeah.
But now like, I'm like, okay, I've read Traction multiple times. I believe in the system. I'm like, okay, now it's probably time for me to start implementing the scorecards and stuff. So I'm actually just now starting to implement that in my company.
Yeah.
And I wish I would have done that sooner too.
Because like all of our sales guys, inside sales, outside sales, our operation guys, even the girls answering the phones, like they all need to know what a great day in the life of a CSR looks like.
Yeah.
Same with the office manager, same with the operations manager, same thing with, every single person in the company needs to build a scorecard. If you need help with building scorecards, reach out to me. I can help you build a scorecard. This is what we do, I have a CFO that's on full time. He built out all of our metrics that we do on a daily basis. I have my CEO who's coming on board to oversee all the metrics, so I don't have to do it anymore. So
yeah,
it's a huge win.
Yeah. I feel like you're in such a good space because I'm assuming you're the visionary, right? And so it allows you to, if you have all those in place and those people, the expectations laid out, the systems in place, and the right people on the right seat on the bus, then you get to do what you're best at. And that is to create, to creatively problem solve and to kind of steer the ship in the direction, the right direction,
Yeah, and get everyone rowing in the same direction. It's way easier.
Yeah. Yeah,
we
exactly.
go over vision almost every single day in our morning meetings. We talk about the vision, what the company, what it's going to look like in 3 years, what it's going to look like in 5 years, what it's going to look like in 10 years.
I love that.
They see the vision. And I feel like that if I had to give myself any credit for anything, I feel like I've done a really good job of having a personal vision and a business vision for at least the last 5 or 6 years. Maybe not from day one, but since we started back over, 100%. Yeah,
that's awesome, dude. That's something dude, I wish I would have done that sooner. I wish I would have done it sooner, man. That's probably the biggest thing. If I could share with your listeners is, dude, have a personal vision, have a business vision. And when I say business vision, like traction to me, it's like a vision with your mission and like your game plan, right? That's the business vision.
Yeah.
And then just rock and roll,
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I just, it's probably something that I learned and then read the books. And then when I started back over, I knew from day one what I had to do.
Yeah.
And I learned from all my mistakes in the past, knew what I didn't want to do over again. And so it's been a big thing. How about company culture? What's the culture like inside your company?
Oh, I'm glad you asked that because I get pretty passionate about this. Cool. So I implemented a system in my business called 2-second lean. And if anybody's familiar with 2-second lean, it's kind of like Six Sigma. But Six Sigma is more like just people become cogs, and you don't care about people. You just care about output and production. 2-second lean it's a culture to where it empowers people to become problem solvers on a daily basis, so that they are correcting fires or mishaps and stuff on their own without having to come to you as the business owner or even the office manager or branch manager or whatever, and saying, hey, what should I do here? What should I do here? It creates a culture of them becoming problem solvers. So every morning, this is what we do. Every day we have a morning meeting. This is kind of the structure, how it looks. So from 7:30 in the morning to 8 in the morning, we do what we call 3S time, which stands for sweep, sort, and then standardize. So what sweep stands for is like, clean the area, look for problems, look for threats, or find something that bugs you. So like as an employee, if I was a technician, fix what bugs you. That's, if I could sum it up in a phrase, it'd be fix what bugs you. So it's clean the area, sweep the area. Sort means like every little micro detail matters. So if you use, let's say, whatever product you use, and it's at the shelf level right here at your like chest level, it's easier to grab. But if it's up high or super down low, then there's a lot of movement and waste from you moving and grabbing that. So you want to sort things in a systematic way to where the most used stuff is closest to you and the least used stuff is further away from you. So even in your trucks, if you're pest control, right, you pull it out and you got all your equipment there, whatever you use most should be up towards you and stuff further away. So sweep, sort, and then standardize, which is basically just standardize it, make it an SOP.
Yeah.
And so that's what we do is I empower from 7:30 to 8. My guys are empowered to fix what bugs them. If something is uncomfortable or can make your job easier or faster or more efficient, fix it. Just fix it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I empower them to do that. I even give them a set up budget monthly that they can just go swipe the card for stuff. I don't care. Fix what bugs you, because it's just going to overall in the long run, if you focus on the little micro details, you'll have significant gains. So for example, this is kind of how why I implemented 2-second lean. I have a very good friend, and I'm actually going to have him on my podcast. His name's Hugh Carnahan. He's known as the Hillbilly Millionaire. And he, in a 5-minute conversation, this is how it went. He said, hey, when you go up to a customer's house, how do you pull your vehicles in? I'm like, oh, we just pull up to the side of the house, which is pretty standard in most service-based industries. Just pull up to the side of the house. We, get out and do our thing. He said, well, how many feet is it from your truck to the house? I said, I don't know. It's probably about 15 yards. He's like, how many times do you do that? And I'm like, I don't know, three times maybe on average. And so anyways, long story short, we started calculating how much money I was losing by parking on the street. So now my guy's back in because we're that much closer to the house to be able to spray the inside and the outside. And those small little details add up and they matter, because if everything in a business is waste if it's not providing value to what the customer paid for. So everything is waste except for physically spraying pest control on a house. Everything else is waste. So if you can figure out how to cut the waste down, your margins will be a lot bigger. So here's another example of something we did. If anybody's familiar with pest control industry, B&Gs are like the holy grail of handheld sprayers. But you freaking have to bend over to pump it every so often, right? Well, that doesn't add value to the customer. They're not paying for you to pump the B&G. They're paying for you to spray the house. So what we did is we found a battery-powered pressurized handheld sprayer that we don't have to pump anymore, but we found out that the wand sucked. Well, my guys, they were empowered to make changes, so they swapped the wand out for a B&G wand. So now we've got a really good B&G wand on this pressurized handheld sprayer, and now we don't have to stop ever to pump it up. And just that little details just adds more to our bottom line. So that's the kind of stuff we're doing, is this 2-second lean stuff where you're taking stuff and going so micro with it. It's just creating efficiencies is what it is.
Yeah, that's great. All great information. Do you pay your guys on like commission base, or are they hourly?
I'm probably not the best for this, but right now I've got 2 people on, no, 2 people on hourly and the rest are on salary.
Nice.
So, and I don't have a rhyme or reason for that. I can see the argument for both. I probably, just for company culture, at some point we'll have everybody on salary.
Yeah. Gotcha. No, I love it. If there's one piece of advice that you could give any entrepreneur that's just starting out.
Starting out?
Yeah.
Man, I hate to sound like a broken record, but get a freaking personal vision, get a business vision. And then after that, you got to start getting clients. So you got to have a marketing plan. Once you have a marketing plan, you start getting business coming in, then start systematizing and then optimize and scale from there.
Love it. I have another meeting at 3:00, so I have to jump off here, but I would love to do this again with you. This is fun.
For sure, man. Dude, you can tell I'm a talker, so I can talk all day.
So am I. Maybe I could jump on yours, or you can jump back on mine.
I would love to get you on. Yeah, let's do that. Let's touch base. I'd love to have you on my podcast, man.
Yeah, it'd be fun. We got some good stuff out of here. It's super fun. I appreciate you taking the time to be with us.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. This is a lot of fun.
All right. I'll message you in a little bit. All right.
Okay.
All right. See you, buddy. Appreciate it.